Jesus threw a party. Jesus was about to die. He knew that he was about to die and threw a party for it. A grand parade, a riotous street festival, whipping the city into frenzy of excitement. He did that intentionally, knowing the whole time that he was parading towards his death. He let the crowds celebrate his arrival as if they were welcoming the emperor, knowing that the same crowds would later shout, "Crucify." He let them think they were welcoming a king, knowing that this would cause problems. He let them get excited, knowing that they would later be crushed. Well, that's painful, almost reckless. How can Jesus let them wave palm branches when he can see the wave of grief that's about to wash over them like a tsunami? Better to walk into Jerusalem quietly, I think. Enter at night and hush those who would draw attention to you. Don't make a big scene, especially if you're going to just disappoint everyone. I bet everyone was feeling pretty foolish about those palm branches come Good Friday. This happens a lot in life, and it's something that I personally get quite frustrated at God about. God lets us get excited about something, only to take that thing away. And we're left feeling foolish for getting excited in the first place. One day we're praising God, rejoicing in the day, and then all of you who have been through a breakup or a divorce, whether you are 13 or 30, you know how this feels. You fall in love and it's so exciting. This person is, without a doubt, a gift from God, and you're so thankful and happy. But then it doesn't last, and you're devastated. You wonder, why did God let you fall in love in the first place? Surely it would have been better, easier, if you had never met that person at all. The same phenomenon happens with anything that you fall in love with, whether that's a person or a job or a church community, or maybe moving to a new city or a new country. You think that you found something wonderful. You get all excited about it, and then later, disappointment. It comes crashing in, and you feel devastated. You break up, or you're fired, or you find out that your church isn't as perfect as you thought, or homesickness hits harder than you thought. At one point, you were waving palm branches of enthusiasm, and then your heart is crushed. We all know these feelings, don't we? Each one of us has got excited about something that was later taken away. It's the story of every broken heart, everyone who has grieved. And I wouldn't blame you for being angry at God. Why would God raise our hopes if those hopes are going to be dashed? Why pull out the palm branches if they're just going to be turned into crosses? Imagine you're holding a palm branch right now. Well, maybe you really are. As you hold the palm branch in your hand, think of the times that you were excited about something that didn't work out in the end. Remember your enthusiasm. Remember just how into it you were, how hopeful you were for it. It can feel a bit foolish holding the palm branch now. Maybe part of you is embarrassed. But don't drop the palm branch. Let's just sit with that for a moment. This is a palm of excitement that you once waved around for the world to see. If you could take this palm branch away from the person that you were back then, would you? If you could talk to that earlier version of you, would you tell them, don't get excited, don't get hopeful? Would you take their dreams away? You, the older version of you, know what pain is about to come, but you also know how happy you once were. To avoid the sorrow, would you take away the joy? Would you stomp down any sparks of love? Would you rain on your own parade? You have now in your hand the palm branch of that past moment. Would you keep it away from the younger you? Or would you give it back to them and let them wave it around in blissful foolishness? I hope we can be gentle and compassionate with ourselves. When we look back at those things that didn't work out, I pray we can look at ourselves with kindness. You waved a palm because you were excited, and there is nothing wrong in that. You were filled with hope, with a dream that God gave you. And it was good. God blessed you with a parade of joys, and it was your responsibility to celebrate that. It's true that the parade didn't end where you thought it would, but that isn't anything to feel embarrassed about. The parade itself was wonderful. It was a blessing in and of itself. It is part of you, a part of you that God helped create. Who would any of us be today if we didn't go through those things? Would you still be the same person you are now? If there wasn't a Palm Sunday, would there have been a Good Friday? And without the Good Friday, would there be Easter? Things often don't work out the way we plan, but it doesn't mean that it's not part of God's plan. God is still at work, and the story of you is not done yet. God uses all these moments in life to bring about good and wonderful things in you and the people around you. Maybe, like the prodigal son, you return home embarrassed, but God welcomes you joyfully, and your story will become a message of hope for everyone around you. Maybe your job or your relationships or future plans didn't turn out the way you wanted, but there is still a blessing to you in those moments, as you are a blessing to others. Good things happen. There are good reasons to be waving a palm branch. That is nothing to be ashamed about. Jesus let the crowds wave their branches. He encouraged it. He let them have this moment. You know what happens next in the story, but you also know what happens after that. It won't be going the way that the crowds want right now, but ultimately, it ends up even better. Let them have this moment of revelry. It is a blessing in itself. For although they don't know it yet, he has come to save them. He has come to set them free. So let them shout Hosanna and rejoice. For if you try to stop it, even the stones themselves would shout out. Hosanna. Blessed is the King that comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna.